Radio.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Free American Hour. I'm your host, Clay Douglas. My guest today is John Nutter. And hello, John. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing well, sir. Your website is burningboxes.com. And is that a description of what we're in right now? Is the box on fire? Are we trying to find our way out of it? What's the relevance behind that?
The relevance of the name is a box is a predicament, which is normally has a difficult or impossible way to get out of. It's like people are trapped, you know? And I put it up as burning boxes because I'll burn them boxes to the ground. There are ways out of all the things that are happening to us, but people are so docile that they're not willing to do what it takes to get out of the box that they're in. I mean, we're boxed in by Obama and his Marxist agenda, but nobody seems to want to do the right thing to get out of it.
Well, I'm working on an article right now called The Most Dangerous Man in America. Years ago, that was used by President Bill Clinton in reference to Bill Cooper, author of Behold a Pale Horse. And Bill and I work together. But in this article that I'm writing, I've got this. I mean, I started out in 1994 fighting against what was then given to us by George Bush, the New World Order. Now I can see a new world coming into view.
I heard that speech.
And it sent a little chill up and down my spine, and so I started talking about it. I started the Free American, and I started the militias. I've been demonized ever since. And John Terrell I included a quote of his in this article that I'm writing. He kind of points out what we're up against, John. The United States, he says, has come to the forefront in mind control since it took over the German program as well as the Japanese programs after World War II. The most well-known program in the United States is Project Monarch. It's run by ruthless intelligence agents who do not abide within the limits of the law. Instead, they make their own laws as they go. All the intelligence services for the last 50 years or so are controlled and operated by the world government. Thus, the President of the United States does not have control over the CIA, the intelligence services of the Army, Navy, Air Force. Instead, they answer directly to world government. That's why the KGB, the Mossad, the MI6, and the CIA work together in the world doing their dirty business.
That's correct.
Now,
that is correct.
Because I'm speaking out against the New World Government, I said I am one of the most dangerous men in America. And I don't think I'm alone. I think you're one. I said because I, like the others I've mentioned, are what the government and the banksters behind them fear most. Individuals capable of critical thinking. They have many names for us. They refer to us as lone wolves, anti-government, right-wing extremists, racists, and anti-Semites. We're not Masons, members of a lodge, not controlled by a church or organization. We're not sheeple. We're not held in mental bondage to dogma. We are not programmed by TV, controlled by the very people that have enslaved us. We are knowledgeable in a variety of fields. We have open minds and high IQs. We are willing to listen to new ideas, think outside the box, and will question orders. We are veterans who remain loyal to our oaths to defend a constitution of the people, for the people, and by the people. We are not the people, or we are the people who are not ruled by consensus. We speak out if we see a wrong being committed. We can be leaders of men in the Christian tradition without the control of a church. That makes us very dangerous to the New World Order. The very words passed on to us by George Bush are lies. The technology they use is new, but the methods and the evil minds behind them are ancient. And our history and our Bible is replete with examples of our enslavement and incarcerations under tyrannical rulers. Is that an accurate summary? This is my words, nobody else's.
That is exactly the definition of all of the people. I think there's like 65 million of them worldwide that are being gang stalked. They're being stalked by people they don't even know and are either made homeless, jobless, friendless, and even they can even turn your family against you. Of course, I've been the black sheep of our family for so long it really doesn't matter to me. But they do that to break you. Their bottom line is they want you to commit suicide.
You know, it's. I tell them I just won't do their job for them. You know. Oops, hold on. Okay. Hold on, John, here. I've lost you. I lost my volume here somehow. Okay. There we go.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry. I can hear you now. John?
It is okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we were kind of a victim, possibly, of gang stalking yesterday. You were scheduled to be on my show yesterday, but I couldn't reach you. Tell us what happened there.
All of my signals quit. Everything. Except my neighbor, less than 60 feet away, she had a cell phone signal, but I didn't.
That's pretty
I couldn't
interesting.
even get on my computer. And it started about 7:30 in the morning.
But everything's working today, more or less. Everything's working pretty good. What has happened to me over the years? I mean, they put me in hospitals. They've tried to have me signed up for long-term care. My family was driven away or sent away. Whether I did it or whether it was someone else, I don't know. And by the way, I wanted to mention this attack is not just on me. I mentioned veterans in here, and they've been targeted. The veterans have been targeted. The Oath Keepers have been targeted by the same ADL, SPLC organization. These are professional gang stalkers, in my opinion. The ADL and Southern Poverty Law. Is that
actually they use corporate security? Really?
They use what?
They use corporate security. Security guards that work for corporations. They use FBI handlers. There's also NSA handlers and rogue NSA agents that are operating on their own, making money on the side. have a page on my site called Civilian Spies that I do recommend people read.
Now, it came out in the
Watch the video.
It came out in the Jerusalem Post that the Mossad was paying people to go on the internet to attack talk shows like this, to put a positive spin on anything Israel, and to try to destroy our silence on the that are speaking out about Israel. I mean, if you say Israel's got 400 nuclear weapons and Saddam Hussein didn't have any, well, then you're anti-Semitic, aren't you?
It all depends on how you look at anti-Semitic.
Well, this is what they use to tarnish anybody that's it's like a racist. I mean, they tried to list me as a racist on the NAACP website when I've had 3 black men on my show that month.
Yeah, I'm labeled anti-Semitic too, but I have friends that are Jews. They practice the religion of Judaism, but the difference is they're not a Zionist. They're not into the Nation of Israel thing about bringing everybody, all the Jews, back to Israel. That's crap. Zionists hosted a gay pride parade in Jerusalem. That's against the religion of Judaism. So, the people in Israel that are running Israel are not Jews, per se. They don't practice Judaism. They practice Zionism. That's the difference between a Jew and the people who are trying to take over and dominate the world.
Before they shut down the Free American by trying to kill me, I had a picture on the cover of 10,000 Orthodox Jews marching in the streets of New York. Marching on the streets of New York.
Oh, yeah. And there's some people that practice Judaism and give a flying rat's ass about Israel. They participated in the go back to Israel thing, but when they found out that Israel was Zionist, they moved back to the U.S. They don't want a part of it. I urge people to go see Civilian Spies on my website and watch the video. All the governments of the developed countries have the technology to plant thought, voices that only you can hear.
Now, the shooter here in Tucson, who happened to be Jewish, that kind of screwed him up. I don't think they got him. They shaved his head, make him look like a skinhead, and then the word leaked out that he was Jewish. But he was potentially one of these mind control peoples like Sirhan or Hinckley.
Right. What, the boy that shot Reagan? He said he was hearing voices. Yeah, you bet he was. They've had that technology for 30 years. I mean, shoot. Being hit by something this morning. It's something that doesn't want me talking to you.
Getting sprayed over there, are you? I heard that New Mexico got hit really hard by the chemtrails.
Oh my God! We sit outside on the deck and we watch them. We watch them do it every day. I mean, we're talking. They're not contrails. We're talking a B-1 bomber that's flying at 10,000 feet, which is 1,000 feet above me. And he's got a 6-foot round plume of smoke coming out of both wings. But what we have, what we've noticed is within 3 days after they spray the chemtrails, they're doing some kind of laser experiment. We were getting a UPS delivery, and it sounded, there was no planes in the sky, none whatsoever. There was nothing in the sky. We heard what sounded like an explosion, and my landlady and I saw a hole about the size of a commode, a planter, something about that size. It was like light came down and hit the ground, and it only splattered for about 50 feet, but the explosion shook this house, the house across the street, and scared the shit out of the old people in this neighborhood. But that was within 3 days of doing the chemtrailing.
Now,
every time
you're in New Mexico, and you're right next to White Sands Missile Range. On White Sands Missile Range, they had a project called the Airborne Laser. I went up to see it. I mean, because I lived on White Sands Missile Range, they gave me notices, and once a year we'd have Ranchers Day, and we'd go up and tour the facilities. And they bragged about it. We can hit the O in God on a dime at 50 miles.
Right.
Yeah, what's the range on this? That's classified. They wouldn't tell me. But let's put it this way: they sitting on a mountain there in White Sands Missile Range. They have a weapon that's capable of knocking out the space shuttle. They said there was no weapon that could have taken the space shuttle down, but that's not true. But
that's not entirely accurate.
No.
I know that we can be targeted with infrared at 15 miles. So, we can be taken out and not even see the plane that took us out. I mean, we can be taken out from the next time zone. Yeah.
Well, aren't we these drones that are flying over in Afghanistan, taking out villagers, killing hundreds of villagers, thousands probably by now. They're controlled here in the United States.
Yeah. The only way that they could test those things was to fly them over our own cities.
And they are doing that, folks. They are these drones are flying. They just put one up in Houston. I think they're using it in Houston.
Yeah.
Unmanned drones. I've said, John, that what they're doing in Iraq is a test run for what they plan on doing here. Do you think it's going to get to that point?
Yep, I sure do.
This whole bit with this Senator Giffords, within 1 hour of her shooting, ABC News was on the line to me. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a call here. We'll just see who this is.
Okay.
Hello, who's calling here? Hello, who's calling?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, hi, yes, is Clayton Douglas there, please?
Who is, ma'am, I'll tell you, Clayton Douglas is here, but he's doing a radio show. Call back. Okay. All right. That Probably a bill collector. That's the only ones that call me. This, I mean, folks, sometimes I go through the whole day, nobody calls. My phone numbers are up on the website. If you want to help, you can call me. If you want to get involved, you can call me. Because I am still trying to do the same thing that I tried to do when I helped start the militias, when I started the Free American. I'm trying to educate Americans, and John, you were absolutely right. You know, I've got friends like Aaron Russo that's Jewish that I put on the cover that and he's revealed what their whole plan is. The ultimate plan is to get you one world banking, one world health care, and keep all of your information on that little chip that you might as well call the mark of the beast.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, so when you get these racist, like I've got some of these racist assholes. Oh, Clay, you're not racist enough. No, I'm not. You know, and I don't. Anytime you refer to blacks as mud people, Jews as kikes, Chinese as chinks, you're simply shooting yourself in the foot, and you make every other white man out there look bad, and you're doing exactly what the Talmudic controllers want you to do. You know, they demonize people. They make they set you up. This is all psychological programming to keep you angry. It's called divide and conquer, folks. And if you're not backing somebody that's trying to get you the truth out, and if all you want to do is sit down and Clay's not racist enough. Clay's not racist enough. Then you're working for them. You're working with them. These people want you enslaved, and they don't want you enlightened. They don't want you to see the light.
Yeah, it's one of the tenets of socialism, which is what the final government of the New World Order will be. It will be socialism that evolves into communism. And the fact is, one of the tenets of socialism, to make it work, is class struggle. Republican versus Democrat. Good versus evil. One government against another government. You need two sides. You can't have three, can't have five. You can only have two sides, one against the other, black versus white versus Asian. You've got to have class struggle in order for socialism to devolve into communism. And that's what they're doing. They're succeeding.
They're running. I am all for border control. That's what our government was supposed to do. Protect our borders. We can protect the borders of Afghanistan, but we can't protect our borders here. But that doesn't mean that I hate the Mexican people. These are fine people. They are being driven up here, the same way the Jews were driven out of their Pale settlement in Russia and driven out and forced to conflict and fight with and help kill 40 million white Christian Russians, Ukrainians.
Right. That's fact. That's fact.
And that's what the race war, they're trying to set us up for it, and these Christian identity idiots are playing into their hands. They're playing into their hands. I mean, you're taking one fact that possibly some of my ancestors walked across the Caucasus Mountains. My ancestors might have been of the tribe of Dan. They walked across the Caucasus Mountains and became called Caucasians, and we went out and did what God wanted us to do, what the Bible told us to do. We spread the word, the truth, trying to get the truth out there. And organized religions, all of them, the Christians, after the Gabriel Giffords slaying, it was the Christians from Topeka, Kansas, that praised, that said God sent that shooter. No, God didn't send that shooter, you idiots. They were, here were Christians coming out and making statements they were going to protest a funeral of a 9-year-old girl. They made the Muslim terrorists, the so-called Muslim terrorists, look like good guys. That's part of the plan. That's part of the gang stalking, to keep everybody upset, try to point the finger at people. Look, Clay Douglas, he's an anti-Semite.
Well, you know what the gang stalking is all about, don't you? The bottom line is that they want total surveillance. They want to appear like they're omniscient. And they do that by several methods. They have people follow you. They have drones flying over this place, so I'm not followed by vehicles anymore because they got a drone up there watching. But they want to give the impression that they're as omniscient as God. That's what they're trying to do. Make you think that there is no more privacy, we can see everything, we know everything. It's a total surveillance society. Total.
We've got it. I mean, every corner you can play back. You can see anything. Google Earth. You can look anywhere on the planet, man. You don't have any privacy. But that doesn't mean they're omniscient, and it doesn't mean that good can't conquer evil. What I was told was that this whole thing is a way that they want to appear more powerful than they really are, you know. So because if they were as powerful as they want us to think they are, we would still be in the under the Roman Empire, or the Syrian Empire, or the British Empire. You know, the sun never sets on the British Empire.
Right.
We beat them before, folks. We can do it again. We can do it.
We're going to have to do it again, but we ain't going to get out of it without blood. Ain't going to happen. There's going to be a lot of blood. It's going to be a war.
Well, on my film, True Face of FEMA, John, and this is another, the True Face of FEMA had just come out when they were trying to kill me. When they tried to kill me. May 20th, 2004 is when that happened. And Colonel John Brinkerhoff is lecturing law enforcement in Sandia Labs in Albuquerque. And he's telling them, we're in for a long war. It may be longer than the Cold War. And the enemy is weak, and they're going to use unconventional methods, so we must use unconventional methods also. And he's asked, or he says, in case of a single outbreak of smallpox in a major metropolitan area or a major natural disaster, like an earthquake on the New Madrid fault, we'll need 400, a single outbreak of smallpox in a metropolitan area, we'll need 400,000 well-armed, well-trained, organized, disciplined troops to control the American people, because some of them just won't follow orders. Oh, Colonel, are you talking about the National Guard? No, they're too expensive. Besides, they're going to be in Afghanistan or Iraq or Iran or Bosnia or someplace. They're going to be somewhere else. But, no, we need a cheap source of well-armed, well-trained, organized, disciplined troops. What he's talking about are UN troops, are Chinese troops. And folks, the Chinese are moving over here. They're already building a city. They're building a city with Chinese workers. I believe that's in Nebraska or somewhere up in that area.
Well, you know that's why they put. That's why Obama wants homosexuals in the military, because all of them are on his side. So, you know, if they call out
he is a homosexual. He is a homosexual. I mean, we had a homosexual come forward, Larry something or other, and state that.
Yeah. That's why he wants homosexuals in the military, because most of them, since they've been prohibited from a combat unit, they'll be in the United States. So when he calls out the Army in the United States, it's going to be all faggots. So, whoa. They don't care much for heteros anyway. So, you know, they'll fire on the American people.
All right, let's take, it looks like we got a call here. Hang on a second. And, hello, caller, 774 area code.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. John, man, I'm calling to tell you, man, about that FEMA, man. They got a bunch of the FEMA coffins down here where I live at, you know, in fields.
Yes.
Why do they need those coffins?
Well, because they're planning a great natural disaster, and it may be started on the New Madrid fault there. They've got earthquakes, and this is where the birds have been dying. This is where the fish have been dying, and that's right on the New Madrid fault. And this is what they talk about in my face, True Face of FEMA. Bud, you got some snapping on there, so I'm going to let you go.